Welcome back, everyone. Tonight we are talking transportation and specifically the impact the coronavirus is having here in Connecticut.
As the state slowly starts to reopen coming up tomorrow, what can we expect on the roads, the rails, even on airplanes? Channel 3 New Haven Bureau Chief Matt McFarland looks into the future of travel.
With his work bag by his side and a mask covering his face, Daniel Clark gets ready to head home from New Haven's Union Station.
It's kind of quiet and everyone keeps their distance and wears their masks and stuff on board and stays a few seats apart.
Clark says typically on his morning trip from New London to the Elm City, he has a car to himself. But lately, he's noticed a few more travelers in the afternoon.
Still pretty sparse, but I've definitely seen an uptake on customers.
And he's not the only one.
I'm already hearing from some commuters that trains that they have been taking and were empty are now starting to fill up.
So what will travel throughout Connecticut look like 3 months from now and even 3 years? Jim Cameron writes a weekly column for Hearst Connecticut Media focusing on transportation. And he stresses while the state slowly starts to reopen, don't expect commuters to rush back to the rails, at least not right away.
I think initially regular commuters are probably going to go to their cars because they feel safer in their cars than they do on the rails.
And that will mean more traffic back on the highway.
We absolutely anticipate that late summer and fall, there is going to be a resurgence of travel, again, domestically and road trips.
And with many vacations already canceled, AAA says many will instead hit the road with shorter local trips.
As restrictions open up and people are allowed to move about more freely, they will be looking to do short day trips, overnight weekend trips.
But what about those flying the friendly skies? At Bradley International Airport, the pandemic wiped out nearly all of its passengers and many of its flights.
Beginning in early April, passenger numbers were down as much as 98% from what they would normally be in the same time period in other years.
According to Kevin Dillon, the executive director with the Connecticut Airport Authority, they've noticed a slight upward trend in more flyers over the past few weeks. But he adds it will be some time, at least 1.5 years, before they're back to pre-coronavirus numbers. Until then, they've made a number of changes. All employees and passengers now have to wear masks in the terminals. They're cleaning high-touch surfaces and installing plexiglass at the ticket counters.
We do think it's going to be slow still for the next month or two, but then we think once we get into the summer, we'll start to see a gradual pickup. And we are hopeful that by the end of our next fiscal year, which ends next July, a year from this July, that will be back to at least 75% of where we were prior to the virus.
But just how quickly will people return to trains and planes? For many, it might be psychological. Specifically, how safe do they feel?
I think a lot of people may wait until they get a vaccine, which they claim may be near the beginning of next year, maybe.
Cameron says traffic will return, but he adds the idea of commuting to work 5 days a week or flying for business travel is likely a thing of the past.
We have all learned how to be much more productive working without going to an office. That's something that this whole crisis has taught us, and I think we're going to learn from that experience that you don't need to go to work to be doing work.
With the mobile newsroom, Matt McFarland, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.